What's up, family? This is Locker Room Beef Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're talking a little bit of football, not American football, but actual football. Let's just get straight into it. Look, a lot of Champions League stuff going on. I know you're very excited about how your team's performing. Talk to me a little bit about that, and just anything else that's surprising you in Champions League. I mean, a lot of really good matchups from the get already. I definitely have some thoughts, but I'm going to let you cook a little bit.
When the draw came out and Liverpool got Porto, I was like, yes, sweet. At least we didn't get... I was happy with it. But then, as you know, there's a little delay, so I just kept thinking about it, and they were talking about how Porto was in good form, and especially like at the tip before any goals are scored, the commentators were saying... especially at home, and I was like, oh my goodness. But then they just kept rattling off the goals, and I didn't know the result, but I was watching it after the fact, and it was like 1-2-0. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how can this be the final? And then they just kept racking up goals, and I was just like, I knew Liverpool was good, but not this good. And then I'm disappointed in PSG. I thought they would do a little bit more there, but Real Madrid, I guess it's just Champions League maestros. I don't know. I guess. Yeah,
I mean, they're always freaking amazing in Champions League. Even when they're doing pretty shit in La Liga, they always figure it out in UCL. I've said this before. I'm pissed that that's the round of 16 matchup, because I personally think those are the best two teams in Champions League. Although PSG didn't really look like it on Wednesday, but I definitely think that over the long haul of the Champions League season, I think that roster is really second to none. I think that you could argue that they're better than Real or whoever else you have as the favorites, but Real looked really good, which I wasn't complaining about because that's who I want to win. But I thought the Juventus-Tottenham game was really interesting. Definitely what I thought should have been a win for Juventus because they were able to score 2 goals in the first 10-15 minutes of the game. And Tottenham was really impressive in coming back and drawing that 2-2. Was also impressed by your Liverpool Reds. I didn't think that they would be put it on Porto like that. Porto, a pretty offensive team. I didn't think they'd post a goose egg. But that was probably the more impressive part, not so much that you guys scored 5 goals, but that you limited them to 0.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think probably the best matchup along with PSG Real was Chelsea-Barcelona, which I thought was a very interesting fixture. I was very impressed by Chelsea. I think they competed very well.
I thought the Juventus-Tottenham game was actually the best overall game.
What?
I was really disappointed in Tottenham at first, because don't ask me why I cheer this way. Here, let me finish. I just want like all the Prem teams to succeed, except there's one exception. Fuck Man United.
Oh.
I don't care if they get knocked out, but all the other squads. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Barca advance either. I kind of just like watching Messi play. But I wouldn't mind if Chelsea advanced either. I would even probably... That's like the closest tie to where I'm not really cheering for anyone. I'm just watching it to watch it, like just for the beauty. And I'll be okay with whoever advances. I'm not going to lie. I want Real... I mean, it's easy to say this after they just won 3-1, but I would probably be cheering for Real Madrid in that fixture.
I hate how freaking bipolar of a Real fan you are. One week you're like, that's my squad. The next week it's like, I think I'd actually be okay with them winning.
They're so weird. I think they're kind of like the Cavs, because they love like the big fixtures with the Champions League, but sometimes I can't always grind through the Getafes, the Gironas, the Malagas, man. It's a grind in La Liga.
Yeah, it is. Did you take anything away from the Bayern game and the beatdown they put on the 10-man Besiktas?
It's okay. I mean, it's what it's expected.
It's
It's all right. I mean, well, the thing I wanted to mention was they mentioned your boy Vincent Abu Bakr quite a few times in that Liverpool Porto game, and they were really trying to hype him up, which they were just saying like, they probably still would have won, but he could have made a difference, which I was intrigued to see. I know like so many people don't know who he is, but I wanted to see how the center backs for Liverpool would hold up against some physical guy.
Yeah, I was really hoping he'd show out, but it's too bad. But I don't know. Bayern's so difficult to me because I think they're a little bit like the Toronto Raptors of UCL.
I like that one.
They just, because they perform well in the beginning, and then when it comes down to real crunch time where they got to win big time games, something always happens. And I feel like they have a very talented roster. But you could even argue they have the most talented roster. I feel like you could argue that every year. But I don't think that their past few seasons has really shown for it and beyond Bundesliga.
Yeah, I mean, so if we're going to keep that Toronto reference alive, do you think Toronto needs their great coach? Because I'm pretty sure Pep Guardiola won the Champions League with Bayern.
Well, I think coaching obviously makes a big difference, and I think Pep is probably the best out there, so of course that would make a difference. I mean, that's why he has had such success with Man City, which is another team that we haven't talked about that we definitely got to get into. I mean, Man City was very impressive versus FC Basel, whatever floats your boat. But
you said Basil. I was about to say Basel. Basil's the spice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's...
We're learning a lot in the in kitchen information here on Locker Room Beef Podcast. Yeah, I thought Man City, impressive in UCL, but not too impressive in the FA Cup. What were your thoughts on their big loss?
I loved it.
Why so?
They just buy all their players. I didn't want them to...
What do other teams do?
They bring them up through the academy.
Oh yeah, really?
And they pick their spots with it.
Uh-huh.
They don't just buy 4 fullbacks in one summer and then... But no, I think Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world right now. It's always like a little asterisk for me because I feel like he just has the funds. They just produce the funds for him, which, I mean, you should if you have a guy like him. So it is what it is. They're just such a congestion of fixtures for Man City, trying to go through 4 trophies that it's going to be hard to keep it real every time.
Yeah, but that's just the rigors of being a world-class soccer athlete. I mean, you're basically chasing 3 to 5 trophies at all times.
Yeah.
Which is also the beautiful thing if you're a fan, just because every game typically matters.
Well, speaking of that, they're going to go for their first cup this Sunday in the EFL Cup final against Arsenal.
Who do you have in that one?
City. They're going to bounce back from it, probably. I think it'll be close, though. Arsenal's really going to be gunning after that one because the FA Cups and the League Cups is like, I feel like that's how Arsene Wenger's been keeping his job for like the past few years. He always seems to just pull these cups out of his ass.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty fair assessment. I'm definitely going to be tuning into that one. What did you think about Aguero's little outfall? So the game ended and some fan came up to him and just started destroying him. Excuse that. Just started to kind of like antagonizing him. I don't know if you saw the video, but he kind of like gave him a solid shove, and he definitely wanted more of a piece of him. But then a teammate and I believe an opponent actually like held him off, and he was wound up and ready to go. But And the fan was just sitting there talking crap. It was kind of awesome. I'm not gonna lie. He can talk as much as he wants when you beat Man City in a fashion like that. But
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Wigan fan, you're so hyped, just probably off some Heinekens or whatnot.
he just charges the pitch and goes straight up to Aguero and starts calling him some foul shit.
Well, I feel like if I was gonna talk shit to any athlete, it'd probably be the soccer ones. I feel like they don't want no smoke, so that's who I would do it to.
Yeah.
I would not be going to Cousins. Like, hey, yo, how's that Achilles, man? But yeah, I mean, Aguero, he's not about it.
Do you think this sort of little slump or that loss sort of changed the optics of who the top in the Premier League are, or nothing's changed?
No, it's still a pretty wide gap.
Yeah. The how good they were in the beginning of the season, I think, is even if they slip a little bit, they're kind of going to be fine, just because that's how much wiggle room they've given themselves.
Yeah, they can probably even start focusing more on Champions League because they have that lengthy little gap there in the league, the Premier League, so they can they might be able to even like rest some of their players in the league.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked really about this, but the Sevilla Man United match was quite disappointing as a Man United fan, just because. But I would say this too. I always think Sevilla is a very tough win, because they're one of the scrappiest teams out there, and they don't really allow any easy wins. And obviously, Man United struggling with that Champions League draw as of now with a 0-0 tie, but obviously it's kind of wide open with the next game in the second leg, but I'd definitely be keying into that because I think Sevilla definitely is capable of pulling off that upset and advancing.
Yeah, I just think Mourinho loves 0-0s. I think he'll be fine with it, and they're gonna. Yeah, Sevilla is definitely a hard out. I know it's the second division of Europe, but they know what they're doing there in Europe. European competitions with 3 Europa League championships. One of them came at the expense of Liverpool that one year, but gotta hand it to them.
Yeah, because they deserved it.
Yeah, it's been a while. So I can't quite remember what happened.
I think the only other game we haven't really mentioned is in the Shakhtar Roma game. And I thought Roma would definitely advance, and obviously it's looking a little shaky having taken an L today. But do you foresee Roma being able to take care of business in the second leg, or you think the upset will ultimately occur?
They're probably going to lose because they don't have someone named Mohamed Salah anymore. So yeah, I think they're going to get knocked out there. Which, I mean, Shakhtar is the Ukrainian side, and I don't know. I think somebody told me one time about the links. They always seem to have a lot of Brazilians. I think there's a link there. And they're a scrappy little squad to the tune of Sevilla, and probably wouldn't want to face them in the round of 8.
I mean, looking at who's probably going to be in the round of 8, I kind of would want to face them. Right now it's probably looking like, well, Juventus Tottenham is up to anybody, but Man City, most likely Real, but that's still up there. Liverpool, Bayern, Chelsea, Barca is still up in the air, and so is Sevilla, Man United. But definitely, like, you're gonna get some real tough ones in the top 8.
Depending on how this whole Champions League finishes, I know it's still up in the air, but would you crown Premier League king if there was 5 out of 8 left?
As far as the best league?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could still argue it's the best league right now as far as the most entertaining amongst any match. I mean, my argument's always been that over the past 3 to 5 to maybe even more than that years, they've been pretty piss poor as far as UCL goes. And that's sort of how I judge it. I mean, if I take the best teams in the world and play them together and you think you have the best league, you should be able to produce a champion or two or at least be in finals. And they haven't been able to really do so. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think it definitely looks good for the Premier League image. It'll be kind of what it's always been because they've always been able to advance. But as of late, they really haven't been able to do so. But, I mean, look, there's a possibility Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Man United all go through, all still a possibility. So I definitely, and it would be a huge change and one that I'm excited for because I think we've been getting a lot of, Bayern and Barca and Real, and although I really enjoy that type of soccer, I think it's always nice to have a little bit of a seasonal change when it comes to the swings of which league is showing their dominance.
Yeah, I know that was all nice, but you want Real to win, so
yeah, I do. So I'll take a Real three-peat and put my middle fingers up to all of you. Although I'm pissed that PSG is playing Real because I was cheering for them too because I enjoy watching them play a lot.
All right.
But just off the whim right now, who's winning UCL? Gut feeling.
Real Madrid.
That feels good.
I can't. Yeah, that was very surprising to me. I did not think they were gonna come out like that, especially with their poor form. It seems. I mean, compared to what they've been, bad form this season. Yeah.
Every year, I think Bayern is a player. But they always disappoint. Obviously, I cheer for Real, so it's difficult for me to not be biased. I think Man City's really freaking good, dude. And now that they got Pep under helm, I just think he knows which buttons to push. That would probably be my pick right there. Is with the amount of talent that they're facing in the Premier League and the amount of talent they have on their roster, and Pep under helm, I think maybe that's my favorite. But I'd like to see what Man City is able to do versus a Bayern, a Real, a Barcelona, a Juventus, a real quality side that's not in the Premier League, because I wonder if that change of style at an elite level is something they can handle.
Yeah, I really want to see Pep face one of his former squads in the Champions League.
Yeah, we'll probably be graced with that opportunity.
Barcelona.
All right, with that, thank you so much for tuning in to the soccer version of the Locker Room Beef podcast. If you haven't done so, please go subscribe to our content. We're also on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. Go check out lockerroombeef.com. We have articles there as well as everything else that we offer. Any last thing to say, Mr. Matt Trapp?
Mo Salah for Ballon d'Or.
Thank you so much. Peace.